Hello students, welcome to the chemistry class. Today we'll start with the chapter the periodic table. After studying this chapter, you will be able to know about the reasons for classification of elements, describe Dobbe-Rayner's triads, Newland's law of octaves and Mendeleev's periodic table, understand atomic number as the basis of modern periodic law, and explain the modern periodic table, its salient features and general trends in modern periodic table. Topics for today are need of a periodic table and history of a periodic table. And in the history of periodic table, you will study Dobbe-Rayner's law of triads and Newland's law of octaves from the page number 78 and 79 of your concise chemistry book. The objective of today's topic is to give you the knowledge about the need and history of the periodic table. Students, every one of you must have visited a library. How are the books arranged there? The books are arranged in different sections so that it is easier to find them and read or study them. If you want to study a chemistry book, you will search in the science section, and if you want to read a Harry Potter book, you will search the fiction section. Similarly, elements also needed to be studied. For this reason, they were needed to be classified or put under a table so that it becomes easier to study them and correlate their properties with the other elements. So what was the need for the periodic table? The periodic table was required because the classification allows the study of the elements in an organized manner. It means that the periodic table, it helps in studying the elements in an organized and easy manner. Secondly, it helps in correlating the properties of elements concerning fundamental properties of all states of matter. That is, whether an element it behaves as a solid or a liquid or a gas. Thirdly, it defines the relationship of one element with another. That is how one element is related with another element, whether the physical properties are same or their chemical properties are same. Many attempts were made by the chemists to classify the elements. The earliest attempts included only 30 elements, which were arranged according to their density, malleability and ductility into two groups called metals and non-metals. What was the defect in this classification? It was that it didn't have any place for metalloids. What are metalloids? Metalloids are those elements which possess the properties of both metals and non-metals. So metalloids were discovered later on, so they were not included in this classification. Also, there were some characteristics of the elements which varied under different conditions. For this reason, a characteristic of an element was required that would never change. So it was William Prout who discovered that the atomic mass of an element never differs and that it could therefore be used as a base for the satisfactory classification scheme. Taking atomic mass as the base for the classification, J.W. Dobbe-Rayner, a German chemist, arranged the elements in groups of 3. So Dobbe-Rayner arranged elements having similar properties in increasing order of their atomic weight in a group of 3 called triads. Tri means 3. Dobbe-Rayner formulated a law of triads which states that the atomic mass of the middle element of a triad was approximately equal to the arithmetic mean, or you can say average, of the atomic masses of the first and the third element of the triad. For example, if we take 3 elements, sodium, lithium and potassium, they all are metals, they react with water to form alkali and hydrogen gas, and thirdly, they all are monovalent, that is, they show +1 valency. Now, if we take the arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of lithium and potassium, that is 7 and 39, it comes out to be 23, which is exactly the same as the atomic mass of sodium. Similarly, if we take the example of halogens, chlorine, bromine and iodine, The arithmetic mean of the atomic masses of chlorine and iodine comes out to be 81, which is nearly equal to the atomic mass of bromine, that is 80. Similar is the case with calcium, strontium and barium. The arithmetic mean of calcium and barium's atomic mass comes out to be 88, which is approximately equal to the atomic mass of strontium, that is 87. It was observed that the elements of the triad, they possessed similar physical and chemical properties. So that is why they were grouped together in groups of 3. Achievement of Dobereiner was that he was the first scientist to relate the properties of an element with its atomic mass. But still this law was discarded. Why? Because Dobereiner failed to arrange all the known elements in the form of triads. And secondly, because the calculated average atomic mass was not the exact value as the real atomic mass, which can clearly be observed here. The value of the calculated average atomic mass was only approximately equal to the atomic mass of the middle element, except for lithium, sodium and potassium, where the calculated average atomic mass was 23, which was exactly the same as the middle element, that is sodium. Thirdly, the law did not fully apply even within the same family. If we take the example of chlorine, bromine and iodine, which are the members of the group halogens. If we take the average atomic mass of chlorine and iodine, it comes out to be 81.25, which is approximately equal to bromine, which has atomic mass 80. But the same law doesn't apply to the members of the same family, that is fluorine, chlorine and bromine. Now if we take the average of the atomic mass of fluorine and bromine, it comes out to be 49.5 and not 35.5, which is the atomic mass of chlorine. So you can notice that a huge difference is there. So the law is applying on some members of the halogen family, whereas it is not applying on the other members of the halogen family. So for this reason, this law was discarded. Another law was proposed by John Newland, which is known as the law of octaves, and it states that if the chemical elements are arranged according to their increasing atomic weight, those with similar physical and chemical properties occur after interval of 7 elements each. Newland was a lover of music, so he divided the elements into horizontal rows of 7 elements each, as shown in this table. We start with lithium as the first element, then the 8th element from it will be sodium. According to Newland's law of octaves, these two elements must have similar properties. So it has actually been found that lithium and sodium have similar chemical properties. Again, if we take sodium as the first element and then the 8th element from it will be potassium. According to Newland's law of octaves, the properties of potassium should be similar to that of sodium. So it has actually been found that sodium and potassium have similar chemical properties. In fact, all the 3 elements, that is lithium, sodium and potassium, they possess similar chemical properties. So in this way, Newland's law of octaves, it proved to be very useful. So what were the merits of Newland's classification? First was that it worked quite well for the lighter elements. For example, it worked well for lithium, sodium and potassium. Secondly, it related the properties of elements to their atomic masses. Thirdly, it showed a distinct periodicity in the properties of elements for the first time. So for the first time, a periodicity in the properties of elements was shown. Now, what is periodicity? Periodicity is when elements are arranged in order of their increasing atomic masses, the elements with similar properties are repeated after certain regular intervals. Now, this repetition of properties of elements after certain regular intervals is called periodicity of properties. In this way, the Newland's law of octaves, it proved to be very useful, and Newland was even awarded Davy Medal in 1887 by Royal Chemical Society, London. But still this law was discarded. Why was it discarded? Because it had certain demerits. What were those? First was that it didn't work well with heavy elements, that is beyond calcium. Secondly, Newland assumed that only 56 elements existed in nature. But later on, several new elements were discovered whose properties did not fit into the law of octaves. Thirdly, Newland adjusted two elements, that is cobalt and nickel, in the same slot and placed them in the same column as fluorine, chlorine and bromine, which have different properties than these elements. Whereas iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel, was placed far away from these elements. You can check this in the table given on the page 79 of your concise chemistry book. Now, fourth reason was that with the discovery of noble gases, this law became invalid, because then the properties of the first element started resembling the properties of ninth element instead of the eighth element. Okay students, now open the page number 78 of your concise chemistry book and start reading with me. Reasons for classification of elements. First was that it helps in studying the elements in an organized manner. We have already studied that the periodic table, it helped in studying the elements in an organized and easy manner. Secondly, it helps in correlating the properties of elements with fundamental properties of all states of matter, that is whether an element behaved as solid, liquid or gas. Thirdly, it helps in defining the relationship of one element with another element. In the beginning, attempts were made by the chemists to classify elements on the basis of factors such as density, malleability and ductility. We have already discussed this, and also to consider whether they were metals or non-metals. But none of these early classifications proved satisfactory. Why? Because the number of elements falling in a particular group were so large that it did not serve the purpose of generalization. This means that many elements, they were placed together under the same group, and it became even more difficult to study them. Second, some of the characteristics being considered, they varied under differing conditions. Varied means they differed. They differed under differing conditions. Third, certain elements showed metallic as well as non-metallic characteristics. So what are the elements which show both the properties of metals and non-metals called? They are called metalloids. So metalloids, they possess the properties of both metals as well as non-metals. Obviously, scientists were in search of characteristics of an element that would never change. It was William Prout who discovered that the atomic mass of an element never differs and that it could therefore form a truly scientific basis for a satisfactory scheme of classification. So from that time onwards, atomic mass was considered as the base for the classification of elements. Now, Dobbe-Rayner's triads. J.W. Dobbe-Rayner, a German chemist, observed that certain elements displayed similar properties and that they could be placed in groups of 3 elements each. These groups of 3 elements each were called triads. The 3 elements of a particular triad had similar chemical properties. In fact, Dobbe-Rayner was the first scientist to show the clear relationship between properties of an element and its atomic mass. The atomic mass of the middle element of a triad was approximately equal to the arithmetic mean, or you can say average, of the atomic masses of the other 2 elements of that triad. The following examples will make this point clear. A. Take three elements, calcium, strontium and barium. These elements have the following similarities. All are metals. Each has an oxide that is alkaline in nature, and thirdly, each has valency 2. We have already discussed all these examples earlier. Since these elements have similar chemical properties, they were put together in one group or family to form triad called Dobbe-Rayner's triad. The atomic mass of calcium is 40, strontium is 88 and barium is 137. It is noticed that the middle element, strontium, has atomic mass approximately equal to the average, that is mean value of the atomic masses of calcium and barium. The mean of the atomic masses of calcium and barium comes out to be 88.5. This is nearly the same as the atomic mass of strontium, that is 88. Take three elements, chlorine, bromine and iodine. They also form a triad because all are non-metals, all react with water to form acids, and all have valency 1, that is they are monovalent. The mean of the atomic masses of chlorine and iodine comes out to be 81.25, which is approximately the same as the atomic mass of bromine, that is 80. A question can come that what were the reasons for discarding the law of triad. First reason was that Dobbe-Rayner failed to arrange all the then known elements in the form of triads. Secondly, law did not fully apply even within the same family. We have already discussed all the examples here. For example, taking halogens with the first three members fluorine, chlorine and bromine. It is observed that the mean of the atomic masses of fluorine and bromine is 49.5 and not 35.5. So Dobbe-Rayner's scheme of classification of elements was not very successful, though it did contain important insights and principles. Now another law, Newland law of octaves, was proposed. John Newland, a scientist and a lover of music, arranged elements in ascending order of atomic mass and found that every eighth element had properties similar to the properties of the first element, just as the eighth note of a musical octave is the same as the first note. Based on this observation, Newland gave his law of octaves for the classification of elements. State the law of octaves. So Newland's law of octaves states that when elements are arranged by increasing atomic mass, the properties of every eighth element starting from any element are a repetition of the properties of the starting element. Now the Newland law of octaves, it is given in the form of table here, and both the Western and Indian musical scale are shown. Newland divided the elements into horizontal rows of 7 elements each, as shown above. The noble gases, that is inert gases, were not known at that time. So you can see they are not shown here. Now you can clearly observe that cobalt and nickel, they are placed together in the same slot and in the same group as fluorine, chlorine and bromine. And fluorine, chlorine and bromine, they have different properties than cobalt and nickel. What were the merits of Newland's classification? This system worked quite well for lighter elements. For example, lithium, sodium and potassium were brought together. Secondly, it relates the properties of elements to their atomic masses. Thirdly, for the first time, it was shown that there is a distinct periodicity in the properties of elements. Distinct means different, and periodicity we have already discussed earlier. Newland was honored in 1887. The Royal Society presented the Davy Medal to Newland in 1887 for his work on classification of elements. Reasons for discarding the law of octaves. So the question can come here that what were the reasons for discarding the law of octaves, or state the demerits of the law of octaves. The first was that this classification did not work with heavier elements, that is those lying beyond calcium. As more and more elements were discovered, they could not be fitted into Newland's octaves. Secondly, Newland adjusted two elements, cobalt and nickel, in the same slot, and these were placed in the same column as fluorine, chlorine and bromine, which have different properties than these elements. Iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel in properties, has been placed far away from these elements. So that's all for today. Please revise the page numbers 78 and 79, and we'll continue with the chapter tomorrow.